I'm currently staying at home for Christmas, which means I'm staying in my old room, which has basically been completely unchanged since when I went to uni. I asked you on Twitter and you were interested, so I thought we'd do a quick room tour. One of the very first things you'll notice when you come in the room is the planes. So these are all World War II planes. That's like an Avro Lancaster, that's a Hawker Hurricane, that's an Ultramarine Spitfire. They were all built by me and my dad. They're all Airfix kits, and my dad was in the Navy, so when I was a kid, I wouldn't see him a huge amount because he'd be on ship a lot. When he was home, we'd do these Airfix kits. So I like to keep them up as like a reminder of us building and painting them together. So past the planes, to take you on a tour of the gross scale structure of the room, we've got a captain's bed here, so there's like shelving underneath because it's not a huge room. Though I am an only child, so win when it comes to space. The bed sheets, believe it or not, were bed sheets that I bought for myself when I was at uni in my first year. They actually glow in the dark. They're really cool. We've also got shelving, books. That's actually a wardrobe. There's a desk, which has actually got work on it, which I've been trying to avoid. And then that's kind of it. You will notice as well there's lots of posters on the wall. So these, that one was like, I've actually been asked about this lot. You might recognise this. In my earliest videos, I had the camera like here, and I shot facing this way. So these posters have been completely unchanged. This one everyone asks about. It was actually free with The Independent, the newspaper, so I don't know where you can get that anymore, or if that's even possible, but same glows, same goes for my glow in the dark star map, which also came in The Independent. That used to be up here on the ceiling, as did these. I actually had about, maybe 20 of these revision posters. They were all for like GCSE and A-level science and maths, and the idea was they'd all go on the ceiling, so that when I was in bed, I could like lie in bed and pretend I was revising. It kind of worked because they seeped into my head because I just looked at them every day. So there's still a few revision posters, like different types of telescopes. There's actually one still on the ceiling, which is the cosine law. There's also two things from the Ox Talent Awards, which were these technology awards that they give out in Oxford, which I've won a couple of. That's from Durrell, this conservation charity that I've been very involved with. That was from the Isle of Skye. And then we get to the unashamed geekery, because in here and up here are some of my collection of Warhammer and Lord of the Rings miniatures. So I collected and painted Warhammer for quite a long time. I actually have a whole case down here of an army. There's lots of Lord of the Rings stuff. This is like my display cabinet of what I think my best miniatures are, along with this guy. Here we have one of lots of bookcases in the house. This is my one, which is full of mostly my books and like VHSs, because I'm that old. Including my nativity tape from 1997, where I play the first wise man. If I can find the method, I think this might be a cool subscriber like goal. If I reach like 1 million or maybe 100,000, let's be realistic, subscribers, if I can get the footage off of this as me as the first wise man, I'll see what I can do. This is my granny's. I don't know if you can actually make out the detail on this. So this was my granny's edition of Pride and Prejudice, which was given to her when she left school. There might even be a date. Yes, December 1939. Most of Pride and Prejudice I actually read from this until it started falling apart and I had to buy my own copy. A note on Teddy, by the way. So Teddy was my first birthday present when I was a year old. When I was a year old, he was given to me by mum and dad, and apparently the first thing I did was I unwrapped him and I hugged him, and that's basically what I've been doing ever since. So when I come home, I still have him in the bed, because I'm a massive softie. So next up, I actually haven't looked in here for a long time. This is my wardrobe, which has actually been co-opted by mum. So yeah, those dresses and things, they're not mine. Up here we've got like photos and stuff. This was bought for me by my granddad when I was a kid and really made me kind of keep going into science. That's my fossil collection from when I wanted to be a paleontologist. These are my neckerchiefs from when I was a scout. So if you weren't in scouts, you can tell what troop a scout was in from their neckerchief, which is this thing. So this was mine. This was the 10th Bath with our woggle. Yes, that's actually what it's called. And then I've also got a few others. This one I traded because I had 2 of my neckerchiefs. So when I went to Switzerland, to the International Scout Centre, this was one from the north of Italy, I think. It was a little kid who I traded with. And then this one was our special one from when we went to Switzerland. In fact, if I have a look in here, yeah. So that's my Explorer uniform. I haven't worn this for quite a while. We didn't actually do many badges, although you will note that I did over 150 nights away. And we did basically everything that like associated with the DFE apart from the formal structure. Like, you basically name an outdoor activity and we did it. I also found my shirt from the last day of school. Look, this was written on by my mates. Hang on. I can't really show you my back, but it's also covered. It's just occurred to me that I would have worn this last in 2007 when I did my GCSEs. And then next to all of that, painting supplies. Oh! There's actually a PDF of this online somewhere, so if I can find that, I'll put it in the description. It's not very good, I'll warn you, but it did get one of the very first A stars in the country. And then there's these! You had to remember that when I was a kid, we didn't have smartphones or anything like that. So these were like my favourite toys. And they're little tin Thomas the Tank Engine models. This one's Edward. You've got like James, you've got all the classics in here. You've got Diesel, Henry. We've also got the OGs, Thomas, Annie and Clarabelle. I can't believe how much entertainment I'd actually get out of just making trains out of these things. Dad and I were both big fans of trains. Like, it's almost like I kind of, you know, copied him everywhere when I was a kid. Then lastly, coming over to the desk, I've got a whole bunch of stuff on this wall. This was the mind map from the first set of videos I made for St. Peter's College YouTube channel. Some of these I didn't actually end up making, but this was like the first time I properly thought about video making, so it's kind of like a relic. This was when I went to space camp at the Kennedy and Johnson Space Centers with lots of people who've signed it, and you can just about make it out now. This was when I flew to California as an undergrad. This was the single greatest piece of criticism I've ever received, and it's why I keep it pinned up on the wall. That was when I did 10 tours, 35 miles over Dartmoor in 2 days. This was from the trip to Switzerland with all my mates. This was when I won an award at a Model UN conference. These were some of my campaign posters for Head Boy, which for some reason worked. You know, the funny thing is somebody actually asked me how on earth I trained the birds to sit on me. No joke. This is frankly a mess, but includes these tickets to Games Day, which, oh my God, that was nearly 10 years ago. That was some custom note paper we made for the Model UN as Columbia. My sixth form leavers thing when I went whale watching in California, a cappella ball. My friend David brought me this from New Zealand when he did his undergrad work there. Actually, David, who just got married to Rachel, both friends of mine. Congrats, guys. If you're a long-time viewer, you might remember this. This was from when I went to the AGU last year. We went to the California Academy of the Sciences. After dinner speaking competition, I nearly won. When I got some funding for the Royal Meteorological Society. My JCR photo from the last year I was in college. And then this lot, hang on. This was the group of us who did debating in school. We were really unusual in that we were from a state school and we had no debate coaches per se, but Mr. Backhouse, Harry Backhouse, please, if you're watching this, send me an email because I'd really love to get in touch with you. And then laying across the middle there, next to me, is Sally Cartwright, who very sadly passed away a couple of years ago from a brain tumour very suddenly. I like to keep this up because it reminds me of those two teachers, and we were really good at what we did at debating, considering we had no coaching at all. And then past all the classic video games, that's a picture of Dad and me from when he was a supply officer. I think this was HMS Beaver. Possibly the least intimidating name for a warship ever, but I thought it was cool. I mean, look at my face! You'd almost think I was in command of a warship. Look how smug I am. And that's kind of it. Like I say, it's not a very big room. But thank you very much for watching. Thank you also, I hope you have a happy holidays for one thing. I've had a really restful couple of days. Though if you're seeing this, I'm back in Exeter and editing and working. So actually getting towards my thesis, supervisor if you're watching. I hope you've had a happy holidays and thank you for making my end of 2016 absolutely mad. Like my audience on YouTube has just exploded. The number of views I'm getting on this kind of video is just never ever would have expected to be getting tens of thousands of views on videos that I make on like a weekly basis. So, whew, thank you for watching. Thank you for being awesome, and I'll see you next year.